Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chesterton's Jest, where we keep a critical eye on faith and culture, especially within the Catholic Church today. In an age where even church teachings seem to be shifting, we're here to explore and question the ideas and changes that challenge timeless truths. Through thought-provoking, often humorous perspectives, we aim to bring clarity to conversations others might avoid, holding fast to orthodoxy with the courage to question what feels off track. If you would like to join us as we dig deeper into the faith with reverence, wit, and a touch of Chestertonian insight, you can support this channel by gently pressing the like, share, and subscribe buttons in that order, and we thank you for your support. And now, without further ado, Ego Without End, the curious case of man's infinite dignity. Chapter 1. The modern malady of the inflated man. The world is always in the business of inflating things. Take, for instance, the modern obsession with self-esteem, where every child receives a trophy regardless of effort, or the corporate jargon that turns mere employees into visionaries and thought leaders. If it cannot make a real balloon, it will at least make a metaphorical one and insist that it is filled with a gas far purer than the air we actually breathe. And so, it is no surprise that modern man, ever eager to mistake himself for God, has taken up the idea that his dignity is infinite. Pope Francis has suggested as much, claiming that man possesses an infinite dignity. But infinity, like an empty stomach, is something we recognize only when we lack it, and man, whatever else he may be, is hardly infinite. Chapter 2. St. Augustine and the Cracked Mirror. St. Augustine, who spent much of his life watching the pagan world crumble under the weight of its own vanity, knew better than to ascribe to man an attribute that belongs to God alone. He wrote in Confessions, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." He spoke of the imago Dei, the image of God in man, but he never mistook the image for the original. He knew better than to ascribe to man an attribute that belongs to God alone. A mirror may reflect the sun, but it is not itself the sun. When Adam fell, the mirror cracked, the image was distorted, but it was not erased. Our dignity, then, is not infinite. It is derivative. We possess dignity not because we are gods, but because we were made in the image of God. To claim an infinite dignity apart from God is not to exalt man, but to deceive him. Chapter 3. St. Thomas Aquinas and the finite nature of creation. St. Thomas Aquinas, with his usual clarity, would remind us that infinity is an attribute of God alone. Even modern Thomists, such as Jacques Maritain, echo this sentiment, emphasizing that human dignity must be understood within the framework of divine grace, rather than mere natural assertion. Man is a created being, and all created beings are, by definition, finite. Even the highest angel is not infinite. To speak of human dignity as infinite is to mistake the creature for the creator, much like the ancient pagans who mistook the sun for the divine rather than a mere burning orb set in the sky by God's command. Thomas would argue that human dignity, while real and important, is measured not by our own self-assertion, but by our relationship to God. If we were infinite in dignity, there would be no fall, no need for grace, no need for salvation. Christ's descent into the depths of human suffering would be an unnecessary gesture, a flourish without meaning. But it is precisely because our dignity is not infinite that his condescension is magnificent. Chapter 4. The infinite condescension of Christ. If man possessed an infinite dignity, there would be no need for a redeemer. The whole drama of salvation would be a mere pageantry, a divine play-acting for an audience that never required the performance. But the truth is far more scandalous. Christ did not come to confirm our infinite worth, but to rescue us from our infinite debt. Here lies the paradox. We are not infinite, but we have been redeemed by the one who is. Christ, in his divine condescension, did not merely elevate human dignity, he restored it, and he restored it at the cost of his own blood. The cross does not affirm man's infinity. It reveals the infinite love of God for a finite creature. Chapter 5. The Peril of Pretending to be God. When modern thinkers speak of man's infinite dignity, they mean to exalt him. Thinkers, such as Immanuel Kant, argued for an inherent human dignity based on autonomy and reason. Yet such views, detached from divine ordination, lead to a dignity that is fragile and ultimately self-defeating. But they succeed only in humiliating him, for they place upon his shoulders a weight he cannot bear. A finite being cannot carry the burden of infinity, and when he tries, he crumbles. This is the tragedy of modern man, who insists upon his own infinite worth and yet despairs when he finds himself weak, broken, and sinful. True dignity is found not in self-exaltation, but in humility. Secular humanists may argue that dignity is derived from human achievement, but the Christian understanding, as exemplified in the humility of Christ, suggests otherwise. The Blessed Virgin's dignity was not in her own assertion of worth, but in her fiat, her surrender to God. The saints did not attain dignity by declaring their greatness, but by recognizing their smallness before the greatness of God. Conclusion. Christ alone is infinite. The dignity of man is great, but it is not infinite. It is a gift, not a possession. It is bestowed, not intrinsic. It is real, but it is finite. To recognize this is not to debase man, but to properly place him in relation to God. And in this proper placement, there is not despair, but joy, for the infinite God has stooped to lift up the finite man. In the end, it is Christ's dignity that is infinite, and it is only in him that our own dignity finds its true measure. To pretend otherwise is not merely an error, it is a refusal of the very grace by which we are saved. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and share our passion for defending the true faith with a touch of humor, be sure to head over to chestertonsjest.com and check out our collection of bold, pro-Catholic graphic tees designed to spark conversation and inspire conviction. Whether you're looking to wear your faith proudly or share a laugh, we've got something for everyone. Visit us today and join the movement, because in times like these, it's more important than ever to stand firm in our beliefs with style and wit. As Chesterton once said, a madman is not someone who has lost his reason. A madman is someone who has lost everything except his reason. So, let's keep our reason and our faith intact together. Thanks for listening. God bless you, and may the good Lord be praised.